Ladies and gentlemen, so yesterday on the channel we did the initial rank up and gameplay video for Symbiote Supreme. Now this character was so much fun to play yesterday. He absolutely annihilates heavy buff opponents in Act 5 and also can take huge advantage of certain nodes like Resistor to pretty much kill the opponent so incredibly quickly. There were some disgusting fights on yesterday's video, so if you want to check that one out, that is on the channel from yesterday, the Symbiote Supreme rank up and gameplay. But one of the things really about this character is he is, to a certain extent, a little bit of a ramp up champion. He takes a while to get into the fight because you need to get to his first special free, and that's when you can really start unleashing the damage. And as you can see here, with 35 hits in, it's barely made too much of a dent in Winter Soldier, and you're not going to really see too much before that first special free. But once you get to the special frees and then keep on chaining them, then you can have a pretty insane time. And I think some of the gameplay that you're going to see today is arguably, you know, I don't want to float my boat too much, but it's some of the most dank Symbiote Supreme gameplay out there. But I would say the best of all of these fights is by far the Juggernaut one. Is an absolutely insane kill. I think it's like 177 hits for Realm of Legends Juggernaut, and Symbiote Supreme just makes Juggernaut his bitch. But I also wanted to showcase kind of Winter Soldier and also Captain Marvel, because neither of these fights have buffs, and Symbiote Supreme, he kind of needs like two things to be really good, and the first one is ideally the opponent has buffs. The more buffs, the higher damage output you're going to get from this dude, because every time you nullify a buff, you're going to deal a little bit of damage, but also you're going to gain more power from that as well with Mystic Dispersion, which really fuels into the special free and just keeps that damage output going up and up and up, especially if you do have Mystic Dispersion. But even if you don't have Mystic Dispersion, you get, what is it, more genetic potential, which gives you even more power. There is a certain cap to it every time you switch phase, but it's much easier to gain power if there are buffs going on the opponent. But anyway, the point of these kind of three different fights is because they all have something slightly different. Winter Soldier has no buffs, Captain Marvel has no buffs, but we do have the class advantage there. And when it comes to Juggernaut, you're going to have the buffs not only from the Unstoppable, which ideally we're trying to stagger all the time, but also attacking into Juggernaut gets Fury as well, so there's kind of a good source of fuel for Symbiote Supreme to make him even more insane when it comes to that fight. So ever since that first special free, we have been shredding this lad down as quickly as we possibly can. Once you get those bleeds and they start to ramp up, man, they deal so much damage, and you are getting one whenever you're in the Fury stance of Symbiote Supreme from every single basic attack. So yeah, if you're playing very, very aggressively, goes up to potentially 20 there. So not only are you getting a ton of damage, but also if you have the Despair Mastery, this is going to be very, very effective as well. So yeah, in terms of damage output, Symbiote Supreme, the big damage comes from that special free and the 15 seconds following that. You'll kind of notice in a period like this where we have the defense phase, the armor buff, there isn't really a huge amount going on in terms of the damage output there. We've had, you know, his health going down because we've had so many stacks of bleed ticking there, but aside from that, not really too much is happening, so it's all about trying to get back to those phases again and just spam the special free and rinse and repeat. However, you are going to see, just in terms of the other specials, I think there is, just from playing this character on longer fights, only really one time that you want to use the special 2, and that's when you essentially have the nullify / power steal phase on the special 2, just because then when you fire off the special 2, you get 45% of your power back, and you steal it from the opponent as well. So quite often when you're in this phase, it's a really good idea to use it, because you're just going to get the power back very, very immediately. Maybe in this scenario, we should have saved for a special free, but you can see we fire off the special 2 there, get a big chunk of damage, and then we are moving on to the special free. But again, maybe in this specific scenario here, it might have been better just to throw off a special free and wait a little bit, just because we are so incredibly close to getting the special free there. With any brand new character, it's all about trying to find those little ways that you can get potentially a bit more damage out of the character, or some cool stuff that you can do with them. So yeah, I feel like Symbiote Supreme, in terms of his gameplay, maybe has like a good level of complexity, but there's also like different stuff you can do depending on if you need a certain piece of utility for certain fights. Like for example, you might want to save or try and line up a special 2 in the Fury phase if you're looking to, you know, remove armor in a certain fight. fight, because firing it off in the Fury gives you a little bit of armor break there, but you can see we use the Special 2 just to get Winter Soldier down. And for a 5-star rank 3, 230 hits is alright on Winter Soldier. The kill time, just over 5 minutes there, but there are a lot of special free animations, and also Symbiote Supreme, as you saw at the start of the last fight, is a character that takes a while to ramp up. Now, this is actually quite a good example of how annoying this character is to get going when you don't get the right RNG. So you're looking for crits on Symbiote Supreme, because your crits have a 50% chance to stagger, and every expired stagger is going to give you 25 genetic potential, and you need more genetic potential. The more you have, up to 100, gives you like a certain amount of power, up to 1 bar. So essentially, you know, 25 is 25% of 1 bar of power, 50 is 50%. But as you can see here, man, we've got tons of crits, but we've only had 1 stagger so far. Sorry, 2 staggers so far. So yeah, that's really, really bad out of 40-something hits. So it took ages to get to the special 3 here. And Symbiote Supreme, he doesn't gain power in the natural way. He gains it like Doctor Strange, but much slower, and also via the, genetic potential as well. But Mystic Dispersion is kind of the fuel, the key that really lights a fire under this man's ass. But just as a reminder, again, Winter Soldier and Captain Marvel, when you're fighting them, don't have any buffs that they use. They both have a Fury that they have a chance to get on hit, but when you're hitting them, you won't see any of these buffs at all. So we're not gaining like any additional genetic potential from getting a successful stagger, or any fuel for the Mystic Dispersion here. However, we do have the class advantage now, which is very, very tasty, especially when we're digging into this Captain Marvel. And the bleed is so satisfying, because it stacks up so much, and just watching that health get shredded is really, really fun to watch. So I always enjoy that. But anyway, we're about to hit another special 3. As soon as, you know, you've got to keep a bit of a close eye on those phases. I see we have 100 genetic potential at the moment. I'm just also trying to get as many staggers as possible. Again, for more damage, you might as well in that time interval get as much damage as you can in. But there are certain ways, if you're looking to, I don't know, for some sort of certain challenge, manipulate the hits dished out by Symbiote Supreme if you wanted to, but it's probably not the best idea in the world. Better off in the majority of scenarios just going in as ham as you can and getting as much damage as you can. But yeah, man, after that special 3, he's just absolutely tearing up. There is so much bleed damage, and Captain Marvel, you can see after we got past those first like 60-something hits and got to the first special 3, then yeah, she's just dropping, and we fired off the special 2 there. Pretty much perfect timing as well, because we got the special 2 interval, and I know we're not going to hit special 3 until we rotate to the next phase and get the power gain. We rotate toward it, get the power at the special 3 now, bait the special 1, and then we use the special 3. And I guess one of the things that's quite good about playing Symbiote Supreme is if you're somebody that hasn't got super good at the mini game of stopping, you have a lot of chances to. Like, I feel in the last 24 hours, I've never been so consistent at hitting that 20%. Again, I have a lot of scenarios where I mess up, but I'm just saying, I've never been able to hit the 20% like I can. And yeah, it's just because you're firing off so many special 3s with Symbiote Supreme, so it's a damn fun time, man. I certainly do appreciate it. Okay, here we go for another special 3. I think we're going to try and get the in on Captain Marvel after this. But yeah, it's 184 hits so far. Again, this one is going a little bit quicker than Winter Soldier once we've really got into the fight because of the class advantage here. So we've got 20% more attack, and also just in terms of the team synergies as well, we are bringing Venom, Carnage, Classic Spider-Man, and also Electro, so that gives us a ton more attack, a bit more crit, and a bit more crit damage as well. Also gives the staggers, whenever they expire, a 25% chance to reapply themselves, which can really help with the power gain, and also just further help in those kind of certain matchups where you need to stagger the opponent. So the hit count for Captain Marvel was 207, but bearing in mind, like, the first 66 hits did like nothing. They did like nothing at all. So yeah, just you know, keep that in mind, because he's a bit of a weird one in the way that he works and ramps up, and I feel like he's sometimes a little bit difficult to compare side by side by other characters, just because he works in some very strange ways in terms of his rotation. But anyway, let's tear into Juggernaut now. So Juggernaut, And in any matchup like this, I assume you just want to be as aggressive as possible, try and get all of the nullifies up, and you can see that anytime he uses a special attack, it is just being instantly eaten up by stagger effects, which is really, really nice to see. And I think I make a bit of a mistake here. One of the tricks on Symbiote Supreme with the special free is ideally you do want to parry stun and then smash your special free, because again, it's the big damage phase and you have the fury right as you come out of it. So yeah, it's a little bit wasted time if you're not immediately able to attack into the opponent. So that's definitely a mistake that I made throughout this fight. I believe 2 or maybe 3 times. But yeah, you just want to play very, very aggressively here against Juggernaut, and it feels great just having this dude up against the wall and beating the absolute crap out of him. And now Juggernaut has been buffed. I don't know, man. Well, I guess he's not going to be causing, you know, the biggest threat on Alliance 4 defense, but one of the things that sucks as well for Symbiote Supreme is that friggin' bleed note. After finally releasing a badass Mystic Bleed character, the next season of Alliance 4, no bleed champions. What a great time, Kabam. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to do a bit of a video talking about the Alliance 4 changes later, but that's one of the things that is mildly frustrating, shall we say. And I think this is the second time I made that mistake of not parry stunning him again before I use the special free. But also the special free, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, it can be used to strip buffs as well. So you could use it, you know, right after a special attack if you're looking to get rid of the unstoppable. One thing I'm really interested to see is like a 6-star or rank 4 Symbiote Supreme versus certain Labyrinth fights. I think I'd love to see him against Gru, Old Man Logan, Unstoppable Colossus, I think Juggernaut as well, because via the special free you can strip all the buffs on the opponent, so I think that'd get rid of Unstoppable as well, and because of his passive power gain you could just, you know, kick back and chill for a bit. But yeah, I'm interested to see how he potentially work in that scenario. But one of the things, because I did see quite a few comments about take Symbiote Supreme up to rank 4. I think my hesitance for that is he's going to be a 6-star character early next year, and at 6-star, you know, the first level, he's going to be a lot bit better than a rank 4 one, and also have that regeneration as well. And I don't think Symbiote Supreme really needs to be awakened, but it does help the character. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit hesitant to go for the rank 4 because those tier 2 alpha man, I'm nowhere near cap, so I certainly don't have an excess of them to throw about at the moment. But maybe we'll see. But one thing for certain, if you get this character as a 6-star, like fresh out of the 10k crystal, when he eventually makes it around, I think it's like February or maybe early March next year, you've just like got the most insane character unawakened. He's gonna be so incredibly useful. Now, because of Mystic Dispersion power gain, we could get Special 2 there while we had all 3 of them active, and we got the 100% attack weakness, we got the armor break, and we also got all the power back. So you can really see this character, he's just throwing people about, mate. He's having a giggle, he's having a laugh, even when you have very close to like no buffs going on. Like Juggernaut, in comparison to some really heavy buff characters, does not have that many buffs. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Symbiote Supreme, it's awesome. When Act 6 comes out, if there are good buff paths or annoying buff champions, this dude might make it to rank 4. It's very tempting. He is very, very fun to play. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, take care, and have an absolutely fantastic day.